Dating apps have transformed how people connect by allowing users to find potential matches within moments, offering a convenient way to meet new people. These apps, ranging from swiping-based platforms like Tinder, allow users to set preferences, connect over shared interests, and chat before meeting in person, expanding dating opportunities beyond traditional boundaries. However, despite their convenience, dating apps carry significant risks. Users are vulnerable to scams, catfishing, stalking, and even physical harm. In today's video, we will be talking about horrific crimes committed on dating apps. Mary Kay Beckham. Mary Kay Beckham, a real estate agent from Las Vegas, experienced a horrifying ordeal after turning to online dating following the death of her longtime partner. She met Wade Ridley through Match.com in September 2010, and after dating for only 10 days, she decided to end the relationship. Wade, however, didn't let go too easily. Over the following months, he began sending her threatening messages. Then on January 21st, 2011, he brutally attacked her in her garage, stabbing her 10 times with a butcher knife until it broke, and then stomping on her head. Wade left Mary for dead, but miraculously, she survived. Mary Kay Beckham spent months in the hospital recovering from the attack. Unbeknownst to the authorities at the time, Wade had more sinister plans. In February 2011, he murdered Ann Simonson, another woman he had met on a dating app, using a machete. Phoenix police later discovered Wade had created a kill list that included Mary, Simonson's, his ex-wife, and her boyfriend. He was later arrested in Las Vegas shortly after Simonson's murder and eventually confessed to both the attack on Mary and the murder of Simonson, claiming that his anger drove him to commit these violent acts. He expressed no remorse, portraying himself as a victim who felt wronged by others. Wade, diagnosed as bipolar and with a criminal history of violent behavior, was sentenced to 28 to 70 years in prison. He died by offing himself in May 2012 while still incarcerated. Mary, deeply affected by the traumatic experience, took legal action against Match.com in 2013 by filing a $10 million lawsuit. She argued that the dating site had failed to warn users about the potential dangers of meeting strangers online, particularly individuals like Wade Ridley, who had malicious intentions. While Match.com maintained that Ridley's attack was an isolated case involving a disturbed individual, Mary's case raised questions about online dating safety and platform accountability. Despite her efforts, the courts consistently ruled in favor of Match.com, citing Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which shields internet companies from liability for content posted by their users. Mary's lawsuit ultimately highlighted the complexities of holding online platforms accountable for the actions of their users and the growing concerns about safety in the realm of online dating. The Grindr Killer. Stephen Port murdered 4 young men between 2014 and 2015 on the dating app Grindr, luring them to his flat in Barking, East London before drugging them with GHB, a date R-word drug, and dumping their bodies nearby. His victims, Anthony Walgate, Gabriel Kovari, Daniel Whitworth, and Jack Taylor, were killed over a 16-month period. Despite being arrested shortly after his first murder, Port was not charged with any homicides until after his 4th victim's death. Port's crimes were riddled with police failures. For instance, he himself called 999 to report finding Walgate unconscious outside of his flat, later admitting he had dumped the body after their sexual encounter. Walgate was discovered with his underwear on backwards and inside out, but police dismissed this as unusual rather than suspicious. The investigation also overlooked key evidence. Port's prior 2012 allegation of R-word was stored in the police national computer but was never checked. Investigators failed to connect this history with Walgate's case, instead focusing on Walgate's background, missing crucial red flags. In addition, the police mishandled forensic evidence. A laptop seized after Walgate's death containing searches of drug R-word videos was not forensically analyzed for 10 months. Swabs collected from Walgate's body were never DNA tested, and bruising under his arms went unexplained. Despite these clear signs, the police did not investigate Port for the murder, choosing instead to charge him with preventing the course of justice for lying about how he found Walgate's body. The Crown Prosecution Service was informed that Port was a suspected ex-offender, further hampering the investigation. Local officers repeatedly requested that the Met Specialist Murder Investigation Team take over the case, but these requests were ignored. This left less experienced officers in charge, contributing to missed opportunities that allowed Poor to kill again. Walgate's friends voiced concerns about his suspicious death, but they felt that the police dismissed them, assuming that Walgate, being a gay sex worker, had likely overdosed. Walgate's mother, Sarah, insisted to the police that her son had been murdered, but she was told it was probably drugs. Poor ultimately remained free to murder 3 more men before being jailed in March 2015. Though not for the murders, but for preventing the course of justice. It was only later that the full scale of police failings came to light, underscoring how prejudice and investigative errors allowed a serial killer to evade capture for over a year. Plenty of Fish Killer. Adam Hillary, a 27-year-old single father from Auburndale, Florida, was murdered in his home after being lured into a robbery by 18-year-old Haley Bustos, whom he had met on the dating site Plenty of Fish. After their first date on a Thursday night in 2016, Adam dropped Haley off unaware that she would return to his apartment the following evening with 3 men: Andre Warner, Joshua Ellington, and Gary Gray. The group had devised a plan to rob him, which ended in his death. During the robbery, Adam pleaded for his life, reportedly mentioning his 5-year-old daughter, in a desperate attempt to stop the attack.
They were laughing.
What were they laughing about?
And how he was begging for his life, saying, "Please don't take my life. I have a 5-year-old daughter."
The suspect stole valuables including jewelry and electronics before fatally shooting him. Adam was discovered dead inside his apartment around 6:45 p.m. All 4 suspects were arrested and charged with first-degree murder and armed robbery, with Haley, Ellington, and Gary also facing charges for violating probation. Haley had previously been linked to a separate burglary case at the time of her arrest. Investigators are also exploring the possibility of Haley's involvement in other similar honey trap robberies. Adam's family and friends held an emotional candlelight vigil outside his home, with his young daughter expressing her sorrow, saying she missed her father, who was with Jesus. A GoFundMe page was set up to help with funeral expenses. In the wake of the arrests, tensions erupted on social media between Haley's mother, Christina, and Adam's friends. A Facebook exchange highlighted the pain on both sides, with Adam's friends condemning Haley for her role in his death. While her mother asked for prayers for her family, Christina acknowledged that her daughter deserved punishment, but emphasized that she also lost a child, though the reply from Adam's friends underscored the permanent loss felt by his loved ones. This case raises broader concerns about the dangers of online dating and the use of honey traps to target victims for robbery, with authorities continuing to investigate whether Haley had a history of similar crimes. Tinder R-word. Daniel Drayton, 31, is accused of murdering 29-year-old Queens nurse Samantha Stewart after they met on the dating app Tinder in July 2018. Following their date, Drayton allegedly strangled Stewart at her Springfield Garden home, then engaged in sexual misconduct with her lifeless body before wrapping her in a blanket and fleeing with her credit cards. Drayton used one of the stolen cards to purchase a plane ticket to Los Angeles, where he was later apprehended. Drayton, a Connecticut resident, was extradited to New York after being arrested in a North Hollywood hotel room, where he was holding another woman against her will. Investigators tracked him down using the same dating app, Tinder, that had connected him to Stewart. Her body was discovered by her brothers in her room, her teeth knocked out, and evidence of strangulation present. Drayton's criminal history includes several prior arrests, including charges of assault and strangulation. He was released on bail just 2 weeks before Stewart's death, despite a series of violent offenses. A county judge had freed him on July 5, 2018, following an assault on his ex-girlfriend, Zaina Barney, in Long Island. Police later connected Drayton to another violent attack, a R-word in Brooklyn just a month before Stewart's murder, through facial recognition technology. Drayton now faces charges in Queens including murder, sexual misconduct, grand larceny, and identity theft. If convicted, he could serve up to 25 years and life in prison. Stewart's family, devastated by her brutal murder, has called for justice, with her father expressing outrage over Drayton's release prior to the killing. Investigators are continuing to examine Drayton's involvement in other potential crimes, including his use of dating apps to target victims. Ashley Madison. In 2015, the infamous hack of Ashley Madison, which is a dating website for married people seeking affairs, exposed the personal data of 37 million users. The breach was orchestrated by a group of hackers calling themselves the Impact Team, who targeted the site's owner, Avid Life Media, demanding the shutdown of Ashley Madison and its companion site, Established Men. When ALM refused, the hackers released 9.7 gigabytes of data, which included names, addresses, email accounts, passwords, and payment information. Many of these details were accessible only on the dark web. The hacker caused immense public fallout, including embarrassment and potential blackmail for many of the site's users.
The news that the controversial website Ashley Madison was hacked may have a lot of people worried that their private lives will be exposed online. The group behind the website is threatening to expose the personal information of more than 37 million people who belong to the site, which claims to help adults have extramarital affairs.
Among those affected were high-profile individuals such as Josh Duggar and other public figures. Though some denied involvement or claimed their emails were used without consent, the hackers condemned Ashley Madison's immoral business model, highlighting a paid service that promised to delete users' data, which was retained instead. They also emphasized that most of the users were men and that a significant portion of the site's female profiles were fake. The exposure had severe consequences for both users and the company. Some people reportedly offed themselves after their names were exposed, and ALM faced $576 million of class action lawsuits, which later resulted in an $11.2 million settlement. Additionally, Ashley Madison's CEO, Noel Bitterman, resigned after leaked emails suggested he had engaged in extramarital affairs, despite previous public denials. The breach underscored the hackers' grievance with ALM's deceptive practices, but the company was quick to frame the incident as an illegal act rather than a moral crusade. In response to the fallout, Avid Life Media rebranded itself as Ruby Corp in 2016, overhauling the site's security and modifying its marketing approach. The company's efforts, including removing fake profiles and improving privacy, allowed the site to regain users' trust. Today, Ashley Madison continues to operate under its original tagline, "Life is short, have an affair," and has more than doubled its user base to 80 million members. Despite its controversial history, the site remains active and profitable. Tinder R-word. Jesse Kempson, convicted for the 2018 murder of British backpacker Grace Mullane in New Zealand, had a history of violent behavior and crimes, some of which could have been addressed earlier by authorities. A woman who met Kempson in 2016 through Tinder reported him to the police after he threatened to kill her with a knife, but no charges were filed due to the lack of evidence, despite her detailed statement, though granted protection and property orders. The case was not prosecuted, with police citing insufficient evidence. This decision may have allowed Kempson to continue his dangerous behavior, leading to Mullane's murder. Kempson met Mullane through Tinder in December 2018 while she was traveling. He strangled her to death in his Auckland hotel room the day before her 22nd birthday and later disposed her body in a suitcase, which was found in a forest area. In November 2019, Kempson was convicted of her murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 17 years. Subsequent investigations revealed more of Kempson's crimes. He had been convicted of abusing two other women prior to Mullane's murder, including his former partner, whom he threatened to kill and assaulted, and another woman he R-worded months before Mullane's death. These crimes were only disclosed after Kempson's name suppression, originally ordered to prevent prejudice in the trial, was lifted in 2020. The woman from 2016 later expressed that Mullane's death could have been prevented had her allegations been taken seriously. Although Kempson is appealing his convictions, the judicial process revealed a pattern of escalating violence that culminated in Mullane's tragic murder. Thank you for watching till the end of the video. It truly does mean a lot to me, and if you guys enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and liking the video because it does support the channel a lot. And if you like this video so much, you will for sure love this video right here, where I talk about crimes committed at fast food chains, which is a really good video and you will for sure love it. Other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video. See you guys.